I'm Brandi Barnard from Brandi Stamps. I'm so glad you're joining me today to learn all about the Fancy Foil Celebrations card class. Now, if you're watching this video, you probably purchased the class kit from me, and inside of your kit, you would have received 2 half packs of ribbon, both the denim ribbon and the white and silver metallic edged ribbon. You also got the Noble Peacock rhinestones, half pack of those, and a half pack of the Noble Peacock Specialty Designer Series paper. Now, I took your half pack and cut it all up into card front sizes. I even did the designs each different direction, so you should be ready to use those on awesome card projects. And then in your kit, you've also received the card kits to make 10 cards with the envelopes. So in this video today, we're going to sit down and go through each card and put them together so that you can see exactly how to do it and get all of your questions answered. There are a few other supplies you'll want to have out. Of course, the stamp set. I used Celebrate with Cake, this great birthday stamp set. And along with that, I needed my H block and my A, B, and C clear blocks. And then I used 5 ink pads. I've got Blueberry Bushel, Flirty Flamingo, Pear Pizzazz, and Daffodil Delight, and also Bermuda Bay. Now with the stamps and ink, you can use any stamps or ink that you have on hand and follow along with me. Or if you want to get these exact ones and you don't have them yet, just let me know, or you can go to my website at brandistamps.com and place an order for any of these products. A few basic things you're going to want to have on hand too. Of course, adhesive. I like to use snail. This is for gluing any paper to paper. And then there are a couple of specialty adhesives I used. The mini glue dots and Stampin' Dimensionals. I used the regular size on these, and I used less than half a sheet to do all 10 cards. Of course, you'll want to have a pair of scissors around. We'll be doing a little bit of ribbon trimming and cutting paper, so grab your favorite scissors. And if you have all of these supplies out in front of you, then we should be ready to get started. Let's go ahead and get started with card number 1. So here's the card kit, and remember, on each one of those cards, you are going to be making 2 of each. In the video, I'll just show 1, but of course, you'll be making 2. So this is our cute little mailbox card. So I'm going to start with the piece that has the mailbox on it. Of course, we'll want our Blueberry Bushel ink and the mailbox stamp. Just like that. We'll add the words "sending you" right below there. And then we've got a set of little pink hearts floating right out of our mailbox. So I'll grab my Flirty Flamingo pad and the heart stamp. And I'm just going to stamp this so that it looks like it's coming right out of the mailbox and floating up from there. In my kit, I also have a little scrap of white cardstock. It looks like this, a little square. And I'm going to stamp some hearts on here too. We'll be cutting one of the hearts out and layering it over the top of this one. So I just gave you 1 scrap of cardstock to cover both of the cards you're making. So stamp the hearts twice on here. And then some of the other stamping for this card is both the envelope and the piece that goes on the inside. So let's jump over to those. Here's the one for the inside. Now, since it says "sending you," we need to finish that. And on the inside, we'll say "lots of birthday wishes." Okay, and let's bring back our hearts and put a few on each side here. Can't get enough of these cute little hearts, so let's add some on the envelope too. I usually stamp my envelope on the front. I know my return address will go here and my person I'm sending it to will be right here, so I like to put something right here on the front, kind of between the two. And for this one, I'll use the hearts. Okay, so all of our stamping is done. We're ready to start putting things together. Let's go first to this little heart that we're going to be cutting out. It's this middle-sized one, and I'm just going to what I call fussy cut it, which is when I cut it out by hand. So when I'm fussy cutting, I always hold the paper with my left hand and the scissors in my right hand. And instead of trying to rotate the scissors at all, I just use my left hand to rotate the project that I'm cutting. And that makes it a lot easier to follow an edge and cut all the way around it. Sometimes I trim off the extra and come back. There we go. So there's the heart we need for this card. Let's go ahead and add it now. I'll use a mini glue dot. There's the dot right here on my roll. I try not to ever touch the glue dots and just lay the project that I want to glue on here and lift it off. Now it's on the back right there. And I'm going to adhere it right over the top of the other stamped heart. So I get a little dimension and I no longer see the line from that mailbox. The other thing we're going to add on this piece are some of the Noble Peacock rhinestones. They have adhesive already right here on the back, and so I'm going to use my paper snips to pick them up. I slide the tip of my paper snip under there, so I've got it, and the adhesive is behind there. We're going to continue the idea of that love floating right out. Now I'll use a medium-sized one. I'm going to put that one more kind of here. And now we'll go to one of the tiny ones. Right up here. Okay, I think we're about ready to assemble. So let's grab our snail and put a little on the back. Get it nice and centered. You should have a nice blue line all the way around. Okay, front of the card we'll have this beautiful Noble Peacock paper. And it should reach right about top to bottom with a little edge on both sides. Okay. Next, this pink square is going to go right about in the center, and you can just eyeball that. Just look at the two sides on the top and bottom and get it approximately centered. This card also has some of our denim ribbon, so grab the ribbon from your kit. You're going to want two pieces that are each about 4 inches. So let's 1 and 2. Go right to your pink paper here at the bottom. Put a little snail there, and then you can lay these strips across. Maybe one right about here, and then one just a little above there. They're pretty close together here. The other thing I like to do, this is going to go over the top, but I'll adhere it with dimensionals. And so I'm going to use dimensionals right on the ribbon here, and that will help keep those secure. Peel those. And now since this piece is much longer than that, we'll also put some dimensionals here at the top and the bottom. Take those ones off too. This is going to be super duper secure because I have so many dimensionals. And let's go ahead and line this up the way we like it. I kind of did it closer to the right than the left and centered it top to bottom. Something like that. And now you're going to clean up these edges, trim them in a cute little diagonal, however you like it. Okay, and there is card number 1. So here is the card kit. You'll notice in this kit there is this cute little piece that's already been cut out from this adorable die. I did those for you and included them in your kit. But if you want to be able to cut these on your own, this one is called the Stitched Labels Framelits. So check out that set of labels. On this piece here, we're going to actually turn it this way for the card and use the cute little tulip stamps. So let's make the tulips yellow and switch to the Pear Pizzazz ink and add our stems. And you're also going to make it say to you right below, also in the Pear Pizzazz ink. Cute. So that piece is all done. I also did the same tulips here on my envelope, so let's go over to those. On this one, I'm going to stamp here on the envelope flap, which is another fun way to decorate. So let's start with the stems. Since my Pear Pizzazz ink is out, I'll put this nice and low so I can make sure that I'm going to have room for the tulip tops. And it's just as easy to add the tops on second as well. Okay, so we've got that part done. Now, all you're going to do is use a little of your white and silver ribbon to make a tie around this piece before you adhere it. I used about 15 inches, so I'll use my grid sheet here to help me measure. So I'll tie that once. I know I did left over right, so this time I'll go ahead and do right over left. And that gives me a nice square knot. Okay. Now I can use my scissors to trim those ends and make them look really pretty. This piece here, I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of it. And adhere that right to the card front. That one is so super easy. There we go. Next up is our adorable little birdie card. So here are the pieces for that one. Let's just go ahead and start with the birds themselves, and that's this long rectangle piece here. Again, the Daffodil Delight ink, and you're going to want this cute little birdie. And then let's also grab our Bermuda Bay ink. That'll be for both the party hat and the little stamp that says It's Your Day. So I'm going to start with It's Your Day right in the front here, just so I can make sure I have plenty of room for that. And then we'll go with birds. This first one, I like to make sure the beak is kind of right here, so it could be saying it's your day. And then I've just got a little row of friends following in a cute little line. You can alter how high or low they are. Let's add a little party hat to the top of this birdie's head. So cute. This piece is going to get glued just to the yellow one that's right about the same size. It just gives it a little frame at the top and bottom. Okay, and now while we're stamping, let's add a cute little birdie here to the front of our envelope. I just can't get enough of this little guy. He is so adorable to me. I had to make a bunch of these cards because I couldn't choose who to send it to for their birthdays. Roll some snail onto the back of this patterned paper. Isn't that beautiful? It's almost the size of the card front. Just going to have a little border at the top and bottom. And then you're going to want two pieces of this ribbon that go just about all the way across. So let's cut those. That means you want them about 5 inches. I like to use a little snail just to hold it in place while I'm working with it. Let's put one this way, we'll make them kind of an X. And one this way. And then I'm also going to use dimensionals to hold this in place, since I want dimensionals behind my birds anyway. Okay, a couple of finishing touches. I'm going to trim these ribbons so they look great. And I also like to use one of the very smallest Bermuda Bay gems here on the hat. I want to position it so the little puffies still kind of show around the edge there, and just give it that finishing touch. And that is finished. Let's jump into card number 4. This one has a cute little cake on the front. So let's start with this piece, which we'll do all the stamping on. Here's my Flirty Flamingo and the cake stamp. I'm going to put it right about here, maybe a tiny bit lower than center. And then we'll grab this little candle that comes in the set, and I just stamped the middle one first, made sure it was right in the center, and then I did one on each side. You can let those drop down a little so they're each different heights. And then I also used Pear Pizzazz ink and this piece that says Celebrate with Cake. That's also the name of the stamp set. So I thought that was appropriate, and it's a cute banner shape that fits right around the bottom of the cake really well. While we've got our candle stamp out, let's go ahead and do a little stamping on our envelope too. And I just did a couple of candles so they know it's a birthday card. Okay. On the front of this cake, I also did a little bit of fun embellishing, so let's go ahead and play with that right now too. Pull out your Celebrate or your Noble Peacock rhinestones, and I'm going to use the largest gems. And I just kind of, I guess I sort of went in color order. But again, just use your fingertip to hold that in place and then pull the scissors out from under it. And I just put a little row of the gems right on the ruffles of this cake here. Such a cute blingy cake. Okay. Let's pull those out. Now we can go ahead and assemble our card. This one has the green Designer Series paper glued right to the card front. On this, I made it so the leaves pointed upward. You can do it however you like. This is how I put mine together. I did it a little bit lower than center. I'm going to use a little swirl of the denim ribbon. You need about 13 or 14 inches to do this. Let's cut a piece there. And I'm basically going to create a little Z in the background here behind my cake. So let's start. I'm going to let it go off the edge a little more than I want, and then I will trim it after. Use the dimensionals to hold this as you go. You get over to the other edge, come back just like a little Z, something like this. And clean this up with your favorite sharp ribbon scissors. And there is our cake card. It's already time to start on our very last card. So let's pull out the pieces. On this one, you'll find the piece that goes in the front with the balloons has these beautiful rounded corners. I used this punch on those corners for you. It's called the Detailed Trio Punch, and it does 3 beautiful things for the corners and edges of your projects. But this side right here is the corner rounder, and that's where I put this corner in and punched it to give you the perfect rounded corners. So be sure to pick this up if you don't already have it. That's kind of a must-have. Now on this piece, we're going to stamp lots of birthday wishes across the bottom. We already used this stamp once, but we used it in Blueberry Bushel last time too, so conveniently we don't have to clean it. And we'll just stamp it right here. And then above that, I did 3 cute little pear pizzazz balloons. Again, whenever I'm going to do 3 of something, I always like to start with the center one first. That's kind of the anchor. Then you can put the other 2 wherever you think they look good. Going to let this one touch that first one so they're kind of not too perfect. And then let's stamp some on our envelope too. Off to the left on the front. I just did a couple cute balloons. This stamp is so beautiful. Stamps down so quick and easy and just looks festive. It's not overwhelming. Okay. In this card kit, you're going to find that you have this smoky slate piece that might seem like extra to you. This is actually where I mounted the pieces of the designer paper just so they would have a piece to hang on to and get lined up on. This gray piece underneath is actually going to get completely covered. So let's start with the Bermuda Bay one. You're going to let it go all the way to the edge. Like I said, pretty much cover up that gray. And then we'll go to the second. I always like to make sure these little leaves face upward, but you do what you think. I tend to be kind of picky, and you don't have to. Okay. And third, this beautiful bright peacock blue. I can see I'm going to end up with a tiny bit of gray on the edge, which is not a problem. See this little edge that's showing? I'm going to trim this off because I want that back layer to be invisible. And it's pretty easy with a paper on paper to just butt your scissors right up against the top layer and trim, trim, trim. Okay. There we go. Now this piece can get adhered directly down to our card front. Just like so. It'll already look like it has a little bit of dimension because you have that extra cardstock under there. It gives it depth. And then on this piece, let's throw a few dimensionals behind it for good measure. I wanted this card to be able to be masculine or feminine, so I tried to keep with the greens and blues. But I still added a little bit of bling. So let's go ahead and do that. Jump back to your Noble Peacock rhinestones. I just used the little ones and I used this pear colored one. And I just kind of imagined the little gleam on a balloon and how they tend to be off to one side. And I just put them on each of the 3, like a little bit of balloon shine. And that's our last card. Let's take one more look at our full set of cards. Here's the whole collection that you made. Of course, you've got 2 of each card, And you have got envelopes to go with them. And so I think we have finished a pretty amazing set of cards today. Nice work! I've had so much fun with you today putting these 10 cards together. I hope you loved the Fancy Foil Celebrations class. Keep watching my blog, brandystamps.com, for the next class through the mail. And while you're there, subscribe to my newsletter so you can see all the specials and different classes I have available. And I will catch you next time. Thanks so much. Have a happy Stampin' Day.